Sparks that I don't remember. Hold and let it shine. Fix and start to fade away. Fix and start to fade away. Fix and start to fade away.
Hello, dear friends of Kabbalah International. We are once again here with Mario Sabán.
How are you, Nacho?
Shalom, Mario. Very happy to be here with you. Today we could say it is a full day because we are going to talk about imperfection.
Good. Very good. You are getting into the subject
I'm
quickly.
getting into the topic quickly, but look, I've written a little something to provide a small framework about imperfection. And yesterday I wrote the following. In Kabbalah, we don't talk about perfection, therefore we should talk about imperfection. We do talk about concepts like function or completeness with respect to the whole.
Look, in order to delve into the duality of imperfection and perfection, it is essential to discuss the term complete beforehand, which in Hebrew is shalem, where the word shalom comes from, which is peace. It means that someone who has inner peace is because he feels complete. This is for me the first key concept. So what is it to be complete? And to be complete is to have many doubts. Having doubts is actually beneficial because it helps you determine how to become complete. So naturally, doubts play a vital role in shaping your overall being. There are many people who say, well, to be complete is as if you no longer have doubts, as if you have reached all the answers. No. Here, from the point of view of the Kabbalah, how does inner peace coexist with this idea of a continuity of doubts? With this idea of a continuity of doubts, because doubts open voids. They open up a void. It means that the void is intrinsic to completeness. Notice that the Ein Sof, cosmogonically speaking, the infinite God, is self-emptying and shows its completeness when it empties itself. And we, in some way too, have to show that completeness by recognizing that emptiness of doubts and questions that we have. There are many people who say, no, I do not feel at inner peace because I have many doubts. Well, these are not doubts. That have to do with, of course, there we enter into another problem. One thing is existential doubt, I don't know why I live. And another are doubts that have nothing to do with the existential. They are the doubts that allow you to grow, or the questions that allow you to grow. It means that to be complete is to be complete in the way you temporarily find yourself. And why do I say this? Because when you progress, and everything progresses, it can only be done by someone who is still imperfect. Because of course, imagine, I am seeking the perfect flower. Where is the perfect flower? There are so many flowers, and each one fulfills its function. Each one is complete in its flower structure. But if I compare them, I can never find the perfect flower. What is the perfect table? The very concept of perfect does not exist in this reality. The reality of absolute perfection of something does not exist because we would have to start comparing objects with each other. Therefore, when an object or subject fulfills its function, it is complete. When that flower is fulfilling the function of a flower, it doesn't need to achieve the perfect flower because it is impossible to achieve the perfection of the flower. We find it in the completeness of its function. Therefore, each one of us does not have to wait to be perfect. First of all, because nobody is going to achieve it. Rather, what we have to achieve is, with the inner peace of the complete being, and with the doubts that we will have within our own emptiness to be complete, to advance in degrees of greater growth. That is to say, we are in constant growth. So, the current moment is complete compared to the moment we are living in, to the moment in which we are living or that we exist. And then, when we grow, we are going to be complete in another stage. And then we will be complete in another stage. That is, there are different levels of completeness at different stages. And those different stages, those different levels, as we say in Hebrew madregat, those different levels, they are reaching higher degrees of completeness But it doesn't mean that previously you could not feel complete. It's just that you are growing. So, all growth is based on erasing the idea of perfection. The idea of perfection to me is a very dangerous idea, because in this reality, there is no one or nothing that is perfect. Yes, complete, therefore, I am complete at this moment. I could elevate myself to a higher level of consciousness. At that higher level of consciousness, I consider myself complete again. And as I continuously ascend, I continuously strive to be complete. However, with each ascension, I come to the realization that absolute perfection is never truly attainable. When one believes they have reached perfection, they no longer have room to grow. If a person says, I am perfect, if we translate what this person is saying, it is, I am not going to study anymore because I have reached perfection. I am not going to work anymore because I have reached perfection. I am not going to do anything else. That is, the idea of perfection leads me to absolute uselessness, to the omission of all action and all thought. Therefore, from the point of view of Jewish mysticism, how can we agree that someone declares themselves perfect? Any person who declares himself perfect does a great disservice to itself, because it completely blocks his potential for personal development.
Not only the perspective of declaring oneself perfect, but there is a phrase that I hear relatively often regarding people who follow the new spiritualities, more linked to New Age topics, which is a phrase that reveals my own imperfection because it bothers me, which is the concept of everything is perfect. That concept of everything is perfect. I refuse to accept it as it ignores the reality. Working is necessary. We must actively engage in the process of making things happen. The exploration process often involves the interaction that occurs in our personal experiences to drive discovery of precisely what our function is, right?
Well, I often say, if someone eventually wants to use that word, I would have to say, everything is perfect in its imperfection, which implies that we are still in imperfection. Also, notice, from the Kabbalah point of view, the idea of tikkun or tikkun olam, which means rectification of the universe, someone who thinks he is perfect does not rectify anymore. Therefore, this person paralyzes his tikkun, his progress, paralyzes his growth. It is a contradiction between advancement and rectification and the development of the soul to higher levels of consciousness to say, I am perfect. Acceptance and not resignation. What does this mean? I accept the situation as it is, but is not perfect. That situation is imperfect because it allows me to grow. So, what people have to understand or at least say is, everything is complete. And thank you, imperfection, for making me grow. I mean, we can't say, everything is perfect. If everything is perfect, I do nothing, I go to sleep. That is to say, if everything is perfect, everything is blocked, everything is perfect, what am I going to study for if everything is perfect? What am I going to work for if everything is perfect? No, everything is not perfect. Everything is imperfect. Just finish the part that everything is imperfect, because we have to rectify, we have to do tikkun.
In the inherent concept of infinity, imperfection serves a purpose and role playing its part.
Imperfection is the only thing that leads us towards the infinite, because if we have an idea of perfection, it paralyzes us from being able to reach the infinite. The infinite precisely brings us the idea of imperfection in order to rectify. Otherwise, we would not have rectification to go towards the infinite. Who believes himself to be perfect is blocked from advancing. He cannot grow, he cannot rectify.
Thank you, Mario.
A hug, thank you.